First contact gone wrong. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of the Terran vessel Curiosity, watching the massive alien structure emerge from the darkness of space. The Nexari station, Eternal Light, hung against the backdrop of a crimson nebula, its crystalline spires and twisting architecture unlike anything humanity had ever constructed. After 6 months of diplomatic exchanges, the Nexari had finally requested Earth's help with their failing quantum systems. Quite a sight, isn't it? Captain Rodriguez joined her at the window. Hard to believe they're asking us for help with that thing. Sarah nodded, her eyes fixed on the intricate patterns etched into the station's surface. Their quantum stabilization systems are failing. Apparently, we're the only species in this sector that's mastered quantum manipulation technology at this scale. The Nexari had appeared in Earth's solar system 1 year ago, their sleek ships and advanced technology marking them as one of the oldest spacefaring races humanity had encountered. They presented themselves as peaceful explorers, eager to share knowledge with younger species. But something about their request for help had bothered Sarah from the start. Ready for docking procedures, the ship's AI announced. Sarah gathered her tools, including the quantum diagnostic array she'd developed specifically for this mission. The device represented the pinnacle of human quantum engineering. Technology the Nexari claimed they needed to prevent their station from tearing itself apart. As the airlock cycled, Sarah was greeted by Ambassador Vextal, a towering figure with iridescent scales and multiple sets of eyes that seemed to evaluate her from every angle. Dr. Chen, the ambassador's translator, conveyed their musical language. "We are honored by your assistance. The station's quantum core grows more unstable with each passing cycle." Sarah followed the ambassador through corridors that seemed to shift and flow, the walls themselves responding to their presence. Other Nexari crew members watched her pass, their expressions unreadable but their attention unmistakable. The station's architecture was overwhelming. Every surface seemed alive with subtle energy patterns that her instruments struggled to analyze. "The quantum core is through here." Vextal gestured toward a massive door covered in swirling patterns. "We've lost 3 engineering teams attempting to stabilize it. Your reputation suggests you might succeed where they failed." Sarah's instincts screamed that something was wrong. The Nexari's technology was clearly advanced beyond human understanding in most areas. Why would they need help with quantum mechanics, a field humanity had only mastered in the last decade? The core chamber took her breath away. A massive sphere of pure energy hung suspended in the center, tendrils of quantum probability cascading around it like a living aurora. Her diagnostic array immediately began collecting data, confirming her suspicions. "This isn't failing," she muttered. "These are deliberate modifications. Impressive observation, Dr. Chen." Vextal's voice had lost its diplomatic warmth. Most species require much longer to notice. Sarah turned to find herself surrounded by Nexari security forces, their weapons trained on her. Vextal's scales shifted to a deep violet. "Your species' quantum manipulation technology is remarkably elegant, far more advanced than we expected from such a young race. We had hoped to simply copy your designs, but it seems we'll need a more direct approach." "You planned this from the start," Sarah realized, her mind racing. The diplomatic mission, the requests for help, it was all to get access to our quantum tech. "Your species achieved in decades what took us millennia," Vextal replied. "Such rapid advancement poses a threat to galactic stability. We will examine your technology, determine how you achieved this breakthrough, and ensure it is properly regulated." Sarah's hand tightened around her diagnostic array. "And what about me?" "The quantum core requires rebalancing. Your unfortunate accident while attempting to repair it will serve as a warning to your species about reaching beyond their place in the galaxy." The security forces moved forward, but Sarah was already acting. She slammed her diagnostic array into the nearest control panel, releasing a surge of quantum energy that sent ripples through the station's systems. The Nexari weapons flickered and died as probability waves cascaded through the chamber. "Lock down the human." Vextal shouted, but Sarah was already running. She'd spent months studying the station's schematics, preparing for every contingency. The Nexari had thought themselves superior, had underestimated humanity's capacity for preparation and survival. As she sprinted through the twisting corridors, Sarah activated the quantum transmitter hidden in her tools. If she survived the next few hours, the Nexari would learn a harsh lesson about human ingenuity. They'd tried to trap her in their station, not realizing they'd given her exactly what she needed: access to their most powerful systems and a reason to use them. The hunt was on, but the hunters hadn't realized they'd brought a wolf into their den. Sarah Chen, quantum engineer of Earth, was about to show an ancient alien race why humanity had survived countless extinction events and risen to the stars. The Nexari were about to learn that humanity's greatest strength wasn't our technology. It was our ability to turn any situation to our advantage. The station's alarms began to wail as Sarah disappeared into its depths, a slight smile playing across her face. Class was in session. The betrayal. Sarah crouched in the narrow maintenance shaft, surrounded by the pulsing quantum circuitry of the Eternal Light Station. Her diagnostic array, now modified into an interface device, displayed the complex web of systems that kept the massive structure functioning. The Nexa research parties moved through the main corridors above, their energy weapons humming with barely contained power. Security teams to Level 7. Vextal's voice echoed through the station's communication system. The human cannot be allowed to interface with critical systems. Too late, Sarah thought, her fingers dancing across her modified device. The Nexari's arrogance had given her an unexpected advantage. They'd never bothered to secure their maintenance systems against primitive human technology. Her quantum interface was already deep in the station's network, unraveling its secrets. The station's design was a marvel of engineering, but its quantum core held a darker purpose. According to the data flowing across her screen, the Nexari had been harvesting quantum technology from multiple species, using their station as a testing ground. The failing systems they'd claimed needed repair were actually overloaded with stolen innovations. Ambassador, a Nexari technician's voice crackled over the comm. We're detecting unauthorized access to maintenance subsystems. Impossible, Vextal replied. The humans' primitive tools cannot bypass our security. Sarah smiled as she injected another quantum algorithm into the station's power grid. The Nexari were about to learn just how primitive her tools were. The lights in Section 4 flickered and died, plunging the search teams into darkness. Emergency power failing in multiple sectors. The station's AI announced. Quantum fluctuations detected in primary systems. The maintenance shaft vibrated as security teams rushed past, responding to the growing chaos. Sarah had spent her career understanding how quantum systems interacted, how probability itself could be manipulated. The Nexari had built their station on stolen quantum technology they barely understood. Now that technology was responding to her touch, recognizing the expertise that had helped create it. Lock down all quantum-enabled systems, Vextal ordered, panic creeping into their translated voice. Isolate the core. Sarah's fingers flew across her interface. The quantum core wasn't just a power source. It was a massive probability engine, capable of altering the very fabric of reality within the station. The Nexari had been using it to steal technological innovations, reaching across quantum probability to pluck advancements from other species. You know what's fascinating about quantum mechanics? Sarah broadcast across the station's comm system, her voice echoing through every corridor. It's all about probability. Like the probability that a primitive species might understand your technology better than you do. The station shuddered as quantum fluctuations rippled through its structure. Systems the Nexari had thought secure began responding to impossible commands, probability itself seeming to turn against them. Show yourself, human, Vextal demanded. Your interference risks destroying the station. That's another interesting thing about quantum mechanics, Sarah replied, initiating her prepared sequences. Observation changes outcomes. Right now, you're observing your perfect station tear itself apart, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Emergency bulkheads slammed shut throughout the station, trapping search teams in isolated sections. Life support systems began cycling randomly, creating pockets of low oxygen that forced the Nexari to retreat. Sarah wasn't trying to kill them. She was demonstrating just how completely she controlled their precious station. "This is impossible." A Nexari engineer's voice shook with disbelief. "She's rewriting quantum probability at a local level. The station's systems are accepting her commands as absolute truth." Sarah moved through the maintenance network, always one step ahead of the increasingly desperate search teams. The Nexari had planned to use her death as a warning to humanity. Instead, she was turning their own station into a testament to human ingenuity. "I understand your confusion," she broadcast again, watching the Nexari leadership scramble to respond through the security feeds. "You thought humanity's rapid advancement must have been stolen or copied. You couldn't imagine that we actually earned our technology, that we understood it at a fundamental level." The quantum core pulsed with energy as Sarah implemented the final stage of her plan. She wasn't just surviving. She was gathering evidence. Every quantum theft, every stolen innovation, every planned act of sabotage against younger species was being compiled and encrypted. "Ambassador Vextal," she called out, her voice now resonating with quantum-enhanced authority. "You have 1 hour to surrender control of the station. After that, every quantum secret you've stolen, every crime you've committed against developing species, gets broadcast to every quantum-capable civilization in the sector." The maintenance shaft filled with swirling patterns of probability as Sarah's commands took full effect. The Nexari had tried to trap her in their station. Now the station had become her weapon, her classroom, and her courtroom. Class was in session, and the lesson was clear: never underestimate humanity's ability to turn the tables. The hunt had become a siege, and the hunters had become the hunted. Ghost in the machine. The Eternal Light Station had become a haunted house in space, and Sarah Chen was its ghost. Through the quantum-enhanced surveillance systems, she watched the Nexari crew grow increasingly paranoid. Every malfunctioning door, every flickering light, every unexplained system failure reinforced their growing fear. Their station had turned against them. "Temperature fluctuation in Sector 12, the station's AI announced. "Atmospheric pressure destabilizing in residential quarters. Quantum probability cascade detected in primary systems." Sarah monitored the chaos from her new command center, a forgotten maintenance hub deep within the station's infrastructure. She transformed the space into a nerve center, her diagnostic array now connected directly to the station's quantum core. The walls pulsed with swirling equations as she rewrote the laws of probability within the station's confined space. "Find her." Vextal's voice had lost its diplomatic smoothness, cracking with frustration. How can one human cause this much disruption? Through the security feeds, Sarah watched a team of Nexari engineers attempt to bypass her quantum locks. Their scaled hands shook as they worked, jumping at every unexpected sound. They understood enough about quantum mechanics to know that the impossible was becoming probable around them, but not enough to stop it. "Fascinating discovery in the quantum core's data banks," Sarah broadcast, her voice emanating from every speaker in their section. The engineers froze. "Did you know your station keeps perfect records of every quantum theft you've committed, including the failed attempts that killed the original inventors?" "Lies," Vextal responded, but Sarah could hear the fear in their translated voice. "Our quantum harvesting research is perfectly legal under galactic law." "Is that what you call it? Research?" Sarah's fingers danced across her interface, bringing up detailed records. "Let's ask the Proxians about their quantum shielding technology." "Oh wait, we can't. Their entire research station mysteriously disappeared." "Or the jury. Their quantum communication breakthrough vanished along with their primary development facility." The station's lights dimmed as Sarah channeled more power through the quantum core. She wasn't just controlling the station anymore. She was learning its deepest secrets, understanding technologies the Nexari had stolen but never fully comprehended. Your primitive mind cannot grasp the complexities of galactic politics, Vextall argued. Sometimes advancement must be guided. Guided? Sarah laughed, the sound echoing through every corridor. Is that what happened to the Keth research outpost? Their quantum portal technology showed such promise, until their station suffered an unexpected core breach. She pulled up the station's historical data, projecting it onto every display screen. The evidence was damning. Decades of technological theft, carefully disguised as accidents and disasters. The Nexuri hadn't just been stealing technology. They'd been eliminating potential rivals. 45 minutes until my broadcast window, Sarah announced. Every quantum-capable species in the sector will know what you've done. How many of them will seek justice, do you think? The security feeds showed panic spreading through the station. Junior officers argued with their superiors, demanding answers about the accusations echoing through their halls. The Nexuri's carefully maintained image of benevolent guardians was crumbling. What do you want, human? Vextall finally asked, their voice heavy with resignation. I want you to understand, Sarah replied, initiating another station-wide quantum shift. Gravity reversed in non-critical sections, sending equipment floating in graceful arcs. Humanity didn't steal our advancement. We earned it. Every breakthrough, every innovation. We built them on centuries of scientific tradition. We share knowledge, we collaborate, we learn from our failures. Through the quantum core, Sarah could feel the station's every pulse and tremor. The stolen technologies were like instruments in an orchestra, and she was learning to conduct them all. The Nexuri had created something beautiful in their arrogance, a symphony of quantum possibility that responded to true understanding. Your species is too young, Vextall protested weakly. Such rapid advancement defies natural order. Natural order? Sarah scoffed. There's nothing natural about stealing other species' achievements. You've had this technology for centuries, but you still don't understand it. Want to know why? Because understanding comes from the journey, not the destination. The quantum core flared as Sarah implemented her most ambitious modification yet. The station's crystalline architecture began to shimmer with new patterns, probability itself writing equations across its surface. She was doing more than exposing the Nexuri. She was proving humanity's worth. 30 minutes, she broadcast. Time for your final lesson in human ingenuity. Let me show you what someone who actually understands quantum mechanics can do with your stolen technology. The hunt had evolved into something more, a demonstration of humanity's true strength. It wasn't just about survival anymore. Sarah Chen was about to teach the galaxy that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't technology. It was our fundamental drive to understand, to learn, and to grow. The ghost in the machine was about to become a quantum revolutionary. Tables turned. The Eternal Light Station had become a quantum crucible, and inside it, probability itself was being reshaped by human hands. Sarah Chen watched through the station's monitoring systems as her latest adjustments took effect. The quantum core's energy now flowed through the station's crystalline structure in entirely new patterns, turning the massive structure into something it was never meant to be, a proof of human understanding. 15 minutes until broadcast window, Sarah announced to the increasingly desperate Nexuri crew. But first, let's talk about quantum entanglement. You've been using it to steal innovations, but you never truly understood its potential. Through her diagnostic array, now evolved into something far more sophisticated, Sarah initiated a cascade of quantum transformations. The station's crystalline walls began to resonate with new frequencies, becoming transparent in some sections while shifting through impossible colors in others. What are you doing? Vextall demanded, their translated voice trembling. These quantum manipulations weren't designed for actual innovation. Sarah interrupted. You're right. They were designed for theft. I'm showing you what happens when someone understands the underlying principles instead of just copying the results. The security feeds showed Nexuri scientists staring in awe as their stolen technology was transformed before their eyes. Sarah wasn't just controlling the station anymore. She was improving it, implementing theoretical advances that humanity had developed, but never had the resources to test. Impossible, a Nexari quantum specialist whispered, their scales shifting through patterns of disbelief. She's rewriting fundamental quantum interactions. The probability matrices are evolving. Sarah smiled as she continued her work. You know what humanity's greatest strength is? We question everything. When we see something amazing, we don't just try to steal it. We try to understand it. We ask why and how and what if. The quantum core pulsed with new energy as Sarah implemented protocols that had existed only in theoretical papers on Earth. The station's structure began to adapt, its stolen technologies finding new harmony under the guidance of genuine innovation. 10 minutes, she broadcast. Want to see something really interesting? Watch this. With a few commands, Sarah demonstrated the true potential of quantum manipulation. Sections of the station began to phase in and out of normal space-time, not randomly, but in a carefully orchestrated dance of probability. That's impossible, Vextal shouted. The power requirements alone would be impossible with your understanding of quantum mechanics, Sarah completed their thought. But you never bothered to develop the underlying theory. You just stole the results and hoped they would work. Through her quantum interface, Sarah could feel the station becoming something new. Not just a collection of stolen technologies, but a unified system guided by genuine understanding. The Nexari had built a museum of stolen innovations. She was turning it into a laboratory of new possibilities. 5 minutes until broadcast, she announced. But I don't think we'll need that long. Your own crew has already seen enough, haven't they? The security feeds showed growing unrest among the Nexari ranks. Junior officers and scientists were openly questioning their leadership, faced with undeniable evidence of both their species' crimes and the superior understanding demonstrated by a primitive human. You cannot simply rewrite centuries of galactic order, Vextal protested weakly. The stability off. Stability. Sarah laughed. You mean stagnation. You've been stealing technology for so long, you've forgotten how to innovate, how to learn, how to grow. With a final series of commands, Sarah initiated her masterstroke. The quantum core's energy surged through the station's systems, not in the chaotic way the Nexari had managed, but in perfect, controlled harmony. Every stolen technology, every copied innovation began working together as they were always meant to. Commander, a Nexari scientist called out urgently. The human. She's not just controlling our systems, she's improving them. These quantum efficiency readings are beyond anything we've ever achieved. 2 minutes, Sarah announced. Time to make your choice, Ambassador Vextal. Surrender the station and face justice for your crimes, or I broadcast everything, including the demonstration of how thoroughly a single human engineer can outperform centuries of your stolen technology. The security feeds showed the moment Vextal's authority crumbled. Their own crew had seen too much, learned too much. The myth of Nexari superiority had been shattered not by force, but by understanding. We, Vextal's voice shook. We surrender. Sarah allowed herself a small smile as she initiated the final sequence of commands. The quantum core stabilized, its energy now flowing in patterns that would have been impossible hours ago. She hadn't just survived the Nexari's trap, she had transformed it into humanity's greatest testament. The ghost in the machine had become its master, and the lesson was clear. Never underestimate a species that values understanding over possession. The hunt was over. Class was dismissed. Humanity's stand. 3 days after the surrender of the Eternal Light Station, representatives from 17 quantum-capable species gathered in its transformed central chamber. The crystalline walls pulsed with newly stabilized quantum energy, a testament to how much had changed. Sarah Chen stood before them, her diagnostic array now interfaced permanently with the station's systems. The evidence is undeniable. The Proxian representative's tentacles rippled with barely contained emotion. Decades of technological theft, masked as accidents and disasters. Our greatest innovations, stolen. Sarah watched as Vextal and the other Nexari leaders faced their accusers. The former ambassador's scales had dulled to a gray that reflected their fallen status. Around them, the station hummed with new purpose, its systems working in harmony for the first time since its construction. The Nexari's crimes against developing species must be answered for, the jury delegate chimed, their crystalline form refracting the quantum light. But equally important is what we have witnessed here. A single human engineer has demonstrated mastery over quantum mechanics that surpasses centuries of Nexari control. Sarah stepped forward, her voice carrying clearly through the chamber. What you've witnessed isn't just human engineering, it's human philosophy. We advance through understanding, not acquisition. Through innovation, not theft. The station's quantum core pulsed in response to her words, its energy flowing through the transformed systems in patterns that drew gasps of appreciation from the assembled scientists. What had once been a hodgepodge of stolen technologies now operated as a single, elegant system. The human speaks truth, the Keth representative rumbled. In 3 days, she has not only exposed the Nexari's crimes, but has advanced quantum engineering beyond what they achieved in centuries. This station stands as proof of her species' potential. Sarah initiated a demonstration sequence she had prepared. The chamber's quantum field shifted, creating a 3-dimensional display of the improvements she'd implemented. Every technology the Nexari stole had greater potential than they realized. They took the results without understanding the principles. Without that understanding, true advancement is impossible. The alien representatives watched in amazement as she showed them how their stolen technologies had been transformed, improved, and integrated. The quantum core no longer just powered the station, it had become the heart of something entirely new. In light of these events, the Proxian spoke again. We propose a new direction for galactic cooperation. The Eternal Light Station will be recommissioned as a center for genuine technological exchange. No more theft, no more secrets. True collaboration between species. Under human administration, the jury added, causing a ripple of agreement through the chamber. They have proven themselves worthy not just through their technology, but through their approach to knowledge itself. Sarah felt the weight of the moment through her quantum interface. The station had been transformed from a monument to theft into a beacon of cooperation. On behalf of humanity, we accept this responsibility. The station will be renamed Unity through Understanding, a place where species can come together to learn from each other, not steal from each other. The Nexari delegation was led away to face justice, but Sarah's focus was already on the future. Through the quantum systems, she could feel the potential humming through the station's crystalline structure. This was just the beginning. Dr. Chen, the Keth representative, approached after the formal proceedings. There is much discussion about your methods. Many of our scientists cannot comprehend how you achieved such mastery over quantum systems so quickly. Sarah smiled, remembering her first moments in the maintenance shaft, faced with alien technology and impossible odds. That's the beautiful thing about human ingenuity. We don't just survive challenges, we learn from them. Every obstacle is an opportunity to understand something new. The station's quantum core pulsed with renewed energy, as if emphasizing her words. In trying to destroy humanity's reputation, the Nexari had instead cemented our place among the stars. They had expected to find a primitive species worthy only of exploitation. Instead, they had awakened a force for change in the galaxy. Let this station stand as a reminder. Sarah broadcast through the quantum-enhanced systems, her voice reaching every corner of the transformed structure. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology. It's our endless desire to understand, to learn, and to share what we learn with others. That's not just innovation. That's evolution. The ghost in the machine had become a teacher, and the entire galaxy was ready to learn. End.